When we look at our most successful customers, eliminating manual tasks with automation is a big theme. The various disparate spreadsheets and docs, the custom code, and inconsistent processes open companies up to security risks and slow them down. That's why we're excited to show you Workflows, which allows you to automate identity-centric processes without code. By creating if this, then that style flows, integrating technology central to your business and automating tasks across it, like deprovisioning a user and transferring their files, is super simple. So let's jump in. For this demo, I am Pam Beasley, an identity admin at Dunder Muffler Car Company, and I'll be walking you through a provisioning workflow like the one you see here on the screen.
And I'm Dwight Schrute, a new sales rep for Dunder Muffler.
I want to make sure Dwight feels welcome and ready to go on his first day, so I'm going to build him a simple flow that gives him access to everything he needs by navigating to Workflows, which is available straight from the Okta admin console. Really easy to jump into. And I'm going to be creating a sales onboarding flow, and since I already have a US employees onboarding flow here, I'm just going to duplicate this existing flow, which will save me a bit of time. All right, so I'm going to quickly rename this to onboard sales. What we're doing in this flow without any code is kicking off a number of automatic actions when a user is activated in Okta. We call these little modules cards. The one on the left here is the one that triggers the flow. It kicks off everything that happens. So in this case, when a user is activated in Okta, we're looking to see if that person is a US employee. If they are, we're sending them a number of welcome messages through different apps. You can see Office 365 Mail here and Slack here. And you can see the message that we're sending here, which is quite easy to duplicate across apps. We're also adding the person to the correct team channel in Slack. All right, so I want to make this a sales onboarding flow, which means I'm going to kick it off a bit differently. So I'm going to go ahead and delete this card and choose a different event to kick off this flow. I'll choose my Okta connector from the list of many connectors that I have here. And you can see there are a ton of Okta events that will kick off a flow. User app password changed, suspicious activity reported, but I want to kick off this flow when a user is added to a group in Okta, so I'm going to choose that option from the list. And I will need a few pieces of information about this user. I'm going to drag his ID over here, and I want to continue the flow if the person is a member of the sales group, and not if the person is a US employee. So I'm going to go ahead and say that the group name needs to be sales. Easy enough. All right, so welcoming somebody is great, but I want to make sure Dwight is successful during his first month at Dunder Muffler. So I'm going to create an onboarding checklist for him automatically via Google Sheets. You can see I could do that with Excel here. I could also take a lot of different options in many different apps, but today I want Google Sheets. And I'm just going to copy an existing onboarding spreadsheet that we already use for all of our sales employees. Save me just a bit more time. So I'll choose that template from the list here. All right, I am going to personalize this to Dwight a little bit by dragging his name into the spreadsheet so he knows it's his checklist and nobody else's. And the last thing I want to do is make sure that it's easy for him to find. We're already sending him a welcome email, so I'm just going to drag that URL over to the messages that we're sending him on his first day, so he'll be sure to have it at his fingertips whenever he needs it. The URL is just the link that he clicks on to get to the spreadsheet. All right, so this flow is ready to go. I'm going to turn it on. And then I'm going to navigate over to Okta's Universal Directory, because if you remember, adding a user to a group is what kicks off this flow. So I'm going to go ahead and add Dwight to the sales group, and we are off to the races.
All right, so I want to hit the ground running on my first day here at Dunder Muffler, and I'm logged into my dashboard with all my apps, and I also see this button to go to a new interface. So I'm going to click on that, and oh wow, it's a very slick interface. I like that. I'm going to get started by clicking on the Slack app here, and it looks like it's logging me in with just one click. And I feel like I'm now going to have to figure out all the different Slack channels that I'll need to be added to, but oh, it looks like I've automatically been added to this worldwide field sales chat, and there's already a bunch of people saying hi. That's great. I've also got this message from the admin welcoming me to the team and also giving me a link to this Google spreadsheet. Let's see what that is. If I click on that, it looks like it is a personalized onboarding checklist for my first 30 days with a list of things I need to do in my first month. That's super helpful. It's going to really help me get started. Okay, now if I go back to my dashboard here, I'm now going to check to see if I've got any mail waiting for me. So I'm going to sign in to Office 365. And sure enough, I've got this email from my regional manager sending me a nice welcome note, linking me to that same Google spreadsheet, and also giving me an inspirational quote. I feel so welcome here at Dunder Muffler.
I'm glad I could create a great first day experience for Dwight, but he's always trying to become assistant regional manager, so I'm not sure he'll stay with Dunder Muffler forever. I want to make sure he can be safely deprovisioned if he decides to leave one day. And while Okta has always allowed me to safely deprovision people, as you can see here, Workflows allows us to go much further. So here, when a user is suspended in Okta, we're creating an alumni identity for that person based on their personal email. While I want to cut off access to some things, I want to retain access to others, like ADP, so that people like Dwight can see W-2s and pay stubs and other important documents after they leave. Then I'm going to go ahead and transfer his folders to his manager, obviously Michael Scott. Here I'm doing that in Box, but you can imagine we could do this with many different apps: Microsoft Office 365 for email, Salesforce for leads, and much more. Then I'm waiting for 15 days and assigning the user to ADP with their personal email. People like Dwight won't have access to his work email anymore after they leave, so this will ensure he can get into that alumni portal and sign into ADP and get those important documents after he leaves. So this flow is ready to go. I'm going to turn it on. And it kicks off when a user is suspended in Okta, so I'm going to head back over to Dwight in Universal Directory, and I'm going to suspend him. Now that I've done this, you'll be able to see that a few things have occurred. When I look up Dwight in Universal Directory, you can see he now has two identities. One based on his work email, that one is suspended, cutting off access to mission-critical apps, just like we want. Another based on his personal email. That one is active, and it'll give him access to that alumni portal. The other thing I want to do is jump over to Box and make sure that his folders and files were successfully transferred to his manager. So I'll scroll down to Michael Scott here, and it looks like his files are right where they're supposed to be. Every single step in this flow used to be manual work for my team, and this is a far faster and more reliable alternative. I'm not nearly as worried that we'll open ourselves up to security risks by letting things fall through the cracks, like I was before.
Things did not work out for me at Dunder Muffler, and I hate when I leave a company and then I have to search through emails and paper mail to try to find important documents like tax documents and old pay stubs. But here in my personal email, I've just gotten this email from Dunder Muffler HR giving me access to this alumni portal. When I load that up, I see that there's a link here to ADP where I'll be able to access my final paycheck, W-2, and other tax documents in a couple of weeks. That's great. Now I don't have to reach out to HR to get access.
The demo we just showed around workforce lifecycle management workflows is now available to customers in GA, which is really exciting. For the next demo, I'm going to be showing some forward-looking use cases meant to illustrate just one of the many places workflows could go in the future, and that's customer identity. Workflows gives us the ability to change fast without changing code, and our vision is to make workflows available anywhere you expect rapid changes, custom code, or manual work in identity. Because our customers have the same high standards as our employees. Any barrier to easy sign-up on our online store means they're less likely to make a purchase down the line. On the flip side, if they're not able to request to have their data deleted, or at least to see the data we're collecting about them, they're likely to lose trust in our brand entirely. So for this forward-looking demo, I'm still Pam Beasley, and I'm going to set up a registration workflow that adds extra security by identity-proofing our customers.
And I am Mose Schrute, and I'm in the market for a high-performing beet harvester that's also not going to damage the environment. And I'm browsing Dunder Muffler Car Company's website here. I've come across this new Tesla tractor. This seems like it's exactly what I'm looking for. So I'm going to go ahead and start to register here. I'm going to enter my first name, last name, my email, and I'm going to allow them to send me some promotions and updates in case there's any good deals. And I'll also check this box to agree to their terms and conditions. All right, ready to continue.
And I want to make sure that when new users like Mose register for an account online, a process that's already powered by Okta on our website, they go through the right flow. So here, you can see that when a user registers, we're creating them in Okta and porting over their consent preferences that they logged when they registered as attributes inside of Okta's Universal Directory. We're also creating that person as a lead in Salesforce. We're porting over those consent preferences there as well. because our marketing team is going to want to send them relevant emails down the line, and this will make it very easy to add them to the correct email lists. Safe authentication is also really important to us here at Dunder Muffler. It's our policy that we identity proof our customers to make sure they have a valid driver's license before purchasing a vehicle. We're doing that with an Okta partner, Evident ID, right here.
So it looks like Dunder Muffler needs a few more pieces of information for me to complete registration, including submitting my driver's license to get validated, which makes sense because I'm purchasing a car here. Just want to go ahead and upload a scan of my driver's license and submit that. Okay, and it's also now asking me to verify my phone number so they can keep my account secure, enrolling me in two-step verification. So I've just submitted my phone number here, and on my mobile device, I just got a text message with that 6-digit code to verify and enroll. Great, now I'm ready to buy my tractor.
We're thrilled Mose is buying a new vehicle from Dunder Muffler, a tractor no less. But he just gave us a fair amount of personal information, and I want to make sure that we respect his privacy. So I've created a flow to make data download easy for both our privacy and compliance teams as well as Mose if he happens to make that request. It kicks off when a user requests a data download from a Preference Center page. Here we're connecting to that page through an API. This used to be hours of manual custom code for my team, so this is much simpler to do it through this card. Then in our Okta partner, Datagrail, we're sending over a request to download the user's data. Datagrail automates data privacy and compliance requests like data download and deletion. Then we're going back to Datagrail and checking in on the status of that request. And based on that information, we're logging a row in a Google spreadsheet that has a few pieces of information. First, the status of the request, whether it was successful or a failure. The second, the legal framework the request is subject to, CCPA, GDPR, any other legal framework that pops up in the future. And third, the user's identity. This is going to be really convenient for our privacy and compliance teams when auditing time comes around. And it's great that we've built this flow, but I want to make sure that it's ready to go when users like Mose request a data download from a Preference Center page. So for my own peace of mind as an admin, I'm going to go ahead and test this flow. All right, you'll see from the green check marks that are appearing in the top right of the cards that each of these cards is executing successfully. And we have a log of that success over here on the right. If there were an error, we would see that, and we would be able to jump into that error and see exactly where it occurred, as well as which card it actually occurred in so that we could go troubleshoot if we needed to. But for the purposes of today, this flow is ready to go.
So I've been reading some news articles recently that say I can now request to access my personal data from companies that I've worked with. And I'm really curious what Dunder Muffler Car Company has on me, since I've submitted some pretty sensitive data to them. So I'm back on their website here, and I'm going to navigate to this account settings section, where I can see some data privacy preferences here at the bottom, including the ability to download my data or request to delete my data. So I'm going to click this button to download my data, and it looks like a text is being sent to my mobile device, which I just got here. And this is just to validate that this is, in fact, me. I'm trying to download this. So I'm going to go ahead and enter that in and click verify. I appreciate that they do that because I really wouldn't want someone impersonating me trying to download all of my data. And now when I head over to my personal Gmail account, I've just gotten this email from the Dunder Muffler privacy team, giving me a link to download all that data. I really appreciate how easy they made that, and it really makes me trust that Dunder Muffler is being responsible with my data.
And Okta Workflows allowed me to automate so many manual processes across both workforce and customer identity. I'm just going to take the rest of the day off and go paint with my new watercolor painting set that Jim got me for our anniversary.